Hello everyone, and welcome to another Software and Internet Monthly Market Report by Sanford Advisors for the month of August 2020. There's definitely some encouraging trends going on in the M&A markets. If you look at the amount invested in August, 37.2 billion, a big number made up by several very large multi-billion dollar transactions, which is a very good sign. 92 transactions in August as well, and a median revenue multiple of 4.6 times across all transactions. So very encouraging metrics, as we'll get into in a minute. Some of the big deals: Ellie Mae was acquired by Intercontinental Exchange for 14.8 billion. Roper Technologies acquired Vertifone for 7.2 billion. Viva Group acquired OSI Soft for 6.7 billion. And Fastly acquired Signal Sciences for 1 billion. The only multiple that was really disclosed there was OSI Soft at 10.2 times revenue, and then Majesco at 4.6 times revenue. So very encouraging to see the kind of return of the multi-billion-dollar deal that really hasn't taken place that much since COVID really took effect. And if you look at monthly deal counts, this is the other encouraging trend for us as we look at this. Deal volume at 92 deals in August was the same as July at 92. So very encouraging that it's kind of picked back up off the low of April and May. And really it's kind of returned to that normal level that we were seeing in the back half of 2019. So very encouraging for us to kind of see that the number of deals has increased back to a pre-COVID level. And what does this all mean for kind of where do we think the year is shaping up? Well, relatively it's going to be a really good year. You look at the dollar volume, which is made up by that red box, we're pretty much going to be even with or at a very similar level to last year in terms of the absolute dollars put into software M&A. Now, deal count is down, and this is something we've been talking about for the last few months, that we've continued this kind of downward trend from 2018, but that's kind of to be expected, and that just means that some of the smaller deals are just not taking place as buyers become a little bit more picky about what they're acquiring. But in general, very good trends, like we've said, and the volume of SaaS deals is already 72 billion. Versus 83 billion last year. So we're on a really good track this year for SaaS deals in particular. And then if you look at multiples, we always break this down by SaaS and non-SaaS. And here you can kind of see the blue line is the SaaS. So that has come off from 2019 levels, and that was kind of to be expected. The 2019 average was very high and was really dragged up by several large transactions that really pulled that average up. But it's kind of more normalized towards the level that we saw in 2017, 2018. I would think that 4.3 continues to kind of pick up a little bit and ends somewhere in the high fours for the whole year. But we'll see how the next few months go. But pretty encouraging, not as bad a trend as it looks, and more of a normalization to the mean. On the non-SaaS side, there's definitely been a decline. And I would say that this is probably due to some of the distressed deals that we're seeing out there. Distressed deals are obviously pulling down multiples. The distressed deals are usually folks that have not done the conversion from a perpetual license model to SaaS, and so they're selling at much lower multiples than the SaaS folks are. You can see kind of that big deal trend on this chart. So this just shows by year the average deal size for the year. So last year it was 81.3 million on average per transaction. Now it's 90.6 million per transaction. So a real good lift of over 11% year over year, and really obviously comprised by some of those really big multi-billion-dollar transactions that we talked about earlier. On the VC side of stuff, also a pretty decent market. So 4 billion was invested in August. 250 transactions, and the median deal size was 5.1 million. Some big notable transactions: Gong raised 269 million, Robinhood raised 268, Rippling raised 196 million, Mural raised 165, and PayActive raised 134 million. So lots of transactions going on above the 100 million mark for sure. And that's kind of a trend that we're seeing in VCs. Like, we've heard obviously through our contacts in the VC world and just companies looking for VC money, that it's much easier to get mid and late stage money right now than it is to get super early stage money. And that was a trend that was kind of existed pre-COVID, but has kind of definitely continued and consolidated after COVID for sure. But definitely encouraging to see some of those large transactions taking place. And you can see, what does that all mean? Well, at the moment, we are trending to well exceed last year's dollar volume. So, 48 billion was deployed last year by venture capitalists. We've already deployed, 43.2 million in the first 8 months of the year. So, really encouraging sign for where we're going to be by the end of the year in terms of the amount of capital that is deployed by VCs. And on a valuation front, you can see here that, valuations, early stage valuations are a little bit deceptive, at 32 times, a lot of the early stage valuations are not paying a revenue multiple. They're not looking at the traditional financial metrics. So it might look a bit distorted being at that sort of number. Obviously, it's a very good trend, but there is some distortion there for sure. The more interesting thing is for me is to look at the mid and late stage transactions. And both of those are up from last year. So, if you look at the late stage transactions, have gone up from 7.7 times on average last year to 10.2. And the mid stage transactions are up from 11 to 13.1. So again, very encouraging signs for the health of the overall VC market. And if you want more stats or you need more data, we obviously do a much more fulsome monthly market report, which we send to our clients. Feel free to reach out to us, and we're more than happy to sign you up for that. Anyway, enjoy the month, and we'll talk to you next month. Thanks.